Ever feel like your cat's staring you down at mealtime? Like they're sending you secret messages through their food bowl?
Oh, absolutely. Like, is this what I have to look forward to again?
Right. Well, get ready to decode those culinary cravings because in this deep dive, we're talking all things cat food.
Mm.
And trust me, you're going to want to take notes.
I'm ready with my notepad.
We asked you to share your cat's food quirks, and let me tell you, you delivered.
Some real characters out there.
We're diving deep into this hilarious back and forth between Henley, a very discerning Bombay cat.
Sounds very proper.
Oh, very. And then there's Sketchy, a sassy tabby bobcat mix with a lot to say.
Can't wait to hear what Sketchy has to say.
Oh, she doesn't hold back. But you know what? Their little debate actually gives us some serious insight into what our cats really think about their food.
It's like they're letting us in on their secrets, which is amazing when you think about it, how much we can learn from just watching their little quirks, their preferences.
It's true. So, okay, picture Henley, our sophisticated Bombay. He's practical,
Yeah.
a creature of habit, you know. He's team Kibble all the way.
Makes sense. Always there, always ready.
Right. No mess, no fuss. Easy for us, easy for him. I'm sure there are a lot of Henleys out there.
Oh, tons. And you know, it's funny because he's actually mirroring our human behavior too, right?
Yeah.
Kibble is just convenient, easy to store, easy to portion out.
Doesn't stink up the whole kitchen.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, and this is where it gets interesting. Don't let that stoicism fool you. Sketchy, our sassy tabby bobcat. She describes Kibble as cardboard. I know. She said she'd rather lick a window than chow down on dry food. And I'm thinking, okay, Sketchy's onto something here.
She might be, because if you think about it from the cat's perspective, Kibble, it just doesn't hold a candle to their natural prey. In the wild, what they're hunting, it's like 70% water.
Wow.
Bursting with aromas, flavors. Kibble, not so much. So that meh face your cat might be giving their bowl of dry food.
Yeah, is this all there is?
It might be more than just being picky, right? They're tolerating it because it's there.
It's survival.
Exactly.
But if you really want to see your cat light up at mealtime, let's talk about wet food.
Here we go.
Or, as Sketchy calls it, a celebration in a can.
She gets it.
The gravy, those meaty chunks, it's like a sensory smorgasbord, and she goes wild for it.
And there's a reason for that. Remember, we're talking about obligate carnivores here. Their bodies are literally designed to digest and thrive on meat. And wet food, with all that extra moisture, the different textures.
It just makes sense for them.
Absolutely. Much closer to what they'd be eating in the wild.
Now, Henley did bring up a good point, though. He's not a fan of the, how do you put it, the funk factor.
The funk factor, yeah.
Especially when it comes to wet food. You know, if it sits out too long.
We've all been there. That aroma hits you and you're like...
It's potent.
It's a natural part of decomposition, though. Something cats in the wild are totally used to.
Right. It's us humans who are a little more sensitive to it.
Exactly. But the good news is there's an easy fix. Smaller portions, more frequent meals. And if you're not using those single-serve cans, refrigeration is key.
So you can still give your cat that gourmet wet food experience without sacrificing your sense of smell.
Exactly. Little hacks, you know.
It's all about finding that balance. But okay, let's say you're really on top of the latest trends, buying organic everything for yourself. You might be wondering, should I be feeding my cat organic too?
It's a big question these days.
Huge. And Henley, ever the skeptic, he joked about cats meditating, doing yoga.
He's got a point, though. Organic gets thrown around a lot.
It does.
But with cat food, it basically means minimal processing, natural ingredients, which on the surface sounds great.
Sounds great, except for, well, this is where Sketchy chimes in about cats with trust funds. Because organic pet food.
It ain't cheap.
It is not.
They're a funny duo, I'll give them that. But joking aside, here's the thing about organic cat food. It's definitely trendy, but the actual benefits for cats, still up for debate.
Right, because if your cat's thriving on a balanced diet already, is switching to organic really going to make that much of a difference?
That's the question. Do your research, talk to your vet, and figure out what makes sense for your cat. Speaking of natural diets, though, have you ever noticed how even the most pampered house cat
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
goes absolutely nuts for fresh fish?
Loses their mind.
Yeah.
Both Henley and Sketchy, it's like something takes over. Full-on hunter mode.
It's primal. And it's not just them. There's a reason for that obsession. Cats are obligate carnivores, remember?
Right, right.
Their bodies crave meat and fish. Excellent source of protein, taurine. Like the holy grail of cat food.
So it's not just about the taste. It's fulfilling those deep-seated biological needs.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about those times when your cat tries to convince you they're starving and the only solution is a bite of your dinner?
Oh, I know this game.
Henley, for example, he's got a thing for chicken, ham. Sketchy, on the other hand, turns her nose up at anything green.
Makes sense though, right? We're talking about carnivores after all. A little bit of cooked chicken, some fish. Those can be great treats. But yeah, most veggies. Not doing much for your cat.
Not much nutritional value there.
In fact, some can even cause digestive issues, so best to stick to what you know they can handle.
Right. It's like they go into overdrive when you drop a piece of chicken on the floor. Suddenly it's like mini panthers in the kitchen.
Oh, I know it. Laser focused. Reminds us those primal instincts are still there, even in our house cats.
Totally. Okay, but speaking of those instincts, have you ever noticed how your cat can be so picky, not just about what they eat, but how it's served?
Oh, tell me about it. My cat, right. If his bowl is moved even an inch.
It's a whole thing.
Drama.
Henley is the same way. Creature of habit, same spot, same bowl, same time every day.
Oh, yeah. Any deviation from the routine.
Forget it.
Look, cats thrive on routine. Consistency, especially around mealtime. It helps them relax, reduces anxiety, makes them feel more secure in their environment.
It's like their little safe space. Makes total sense.
Exactly.
Sketchy, on the other hand, she's all about the excitement. Treat dispensing toys, food puzzles.
Yes.
It's like mealtime is a game to be won.
She's onto something, though. Engaging those natural hunting
That's
instincts.
so important.
It's not just fun. It's stimulating their minds, keeping them active. Good for their physical health, mental health.
Win-win. Like sending your cat to a challenging workout class.
Exactly. And just like us, some cats are going to prefer a more mentally stimulating workout than others. You've got to find what works.
It's about knowing your cat.
Yeah.
So we've talked about what Henley and Sketchy love. But what about those foods that send cats running for the hills?
Right, because what might seem harmless to us.
Sketchy's not a fan of lettuce, we know that. But what else?
So many things. Onions, garlic,
Really?
grapes, raisins. Toxic to cats.
You're kidding?
Nope. Those foods contain compounds that can cause some serious health problems for our furry friends. So always, always err on the side of caution.
Good to know.
And definitely check with your vet before sharing any people food with your cat, no matter how much they beg.
They can be very convincing.
Grease eyes. But your vet, they can give you the best advice. Make sure your furry companion stays safe and healthy.
Right, because they're the experts. We've covered a lot of ground here. From the surprising appeal of wet food to the hidden dangers lurking in our kitchens. It's clear there's a lot more to feeding our cats than meets the eye.
Absolutely. What we see as our cat, maybe being a picky eater, can often be traced back to their instincts. Understanding those needs, I think that's key to making mealtime a better experience for everyone.
Totally. Now, before we move on, I think it's important to talk about how a cat's age, their health conditions, that can all play a role in their dietary needs. I mean, a kitten's going to have very different requirements than a senior cat, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Kittens are like tiny bundles of energy, constantly growing, developing. They need way more calories.
It's like the nutritional equivalent of a growth spurt. Like teenagers, they need that extra fuel to keep up with themselves.
Exactly. All that playing, exploring. And then on the other end of the spectrum, when cats enter their senior years, metabolism slows down, they're less active. So they need fewer calories to avoid weight gain, but they still need the right nutrients.
To support their aging bodies, like fine-tuning a recipe as you go, making adjustments.
Exactly. And just like with people, certain health conditions might require some tweaks to their diet. Cats with, say, kidney disease, they often need a low-protein diet. And urinary tract issues, there are specific foods for that, formulated to promote urinary health.
Makes sense. So it's like having a personalized meal plan from the cat nutritionists themselves.
Exactly. And they can keep an eye out for those potential health concerns, catch things early on.
It's so important.
It is. Veterinarians, they're our partners in all of this, helping us make the best choices for our cats to, live their best lives.
Their longest, healthiest lives, absolutely. Well, Henley and Sketchy, you've given us a lot to think about. I feel like I've learned so much more than just kibble or wet food.
Yeah.
This is like a crash course in feline nutrition.
It really was. We went from debating dry food to really understanding the instincts behind those picky eating habits. That's what I love about these deep dives,
It's true. It's amazing what you can learn by just really paying attention to your cat, what they like, what they don't like, their little quirks.
Totally. All those little details, they can tell us so much about their well-being. So as we wrap up our deep dive here into the world of feline foodies, what's like the one thing you hope listeners take away from this?
Honestly,
Yeah.
for me, it's that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to cat food.
Yeah.
Just like us, every cat is different, different preferences, different needs. They've got their own little personalities.
100%. It's finding that sweet spot, convenience, nutrition, and, that little spark of joy.
Yeah.
Making mealtime fun for your cat.
So important. And never underestimate the power of a good chat with your vet.
Never.
They really can help you create that perfect meal plan for your furry friend.
Because at the end of the day, a well-fed cat is a happy cat.
That's what it's all about. All right, well, to all our listeners out there, next time you catch your cat giving their food bowl that side eye, remember Henley and Sketchy, right? They've reminded us that even the most pampered house cats, those instincts are still there. They want variety. They need that engagement. And sometimes they just want to feel like they've worked for their dinner.
Maybe even inspire them to try a post-meal yoga pose.
Now that I would love to see. Thanks for joining us on this delicious deep dive.